name's Jim. I'm here at Hart Park in Orange for the annual Model A Ford Club of Orange County Pancake Breakfast. About 300 Model A Fords show up from as far away as Riverside, San Bernardino, Santa Barbara. And this year probably had 250 to 300 cars. Well, this is a 1929 Model A Ford two-door sedan. I bought it in 1966 when I was 15 and a half. It had belonged to the Santa Ana Post Office, and it was used in regular mail delivery from 29 until 65. And they retired it in 65. The postman bought it at surplus auction along with a convertible, a Roadster. His wife told him that he couldn't have two cars and she liked the convertible. So he put this car on the market, and at that time, long before I knew better, I thought one of these would be fun to have, and my father and I bought it, brought it home, took it down to the bare chassis and started restoring it from the ground up. So I've had the car, it'll be 40 years next August, and it's been restored twice, the first time when I was in high school, and the second time beginning about 15 years ago. So it's been gone through from the bumper to bumper and the wheels to the top. I've replaced or repaired virtually everything in the car, but it's original and correct to the month of manufacture, which is August of 29. Well, I've always loved cars. I've got a sports car that I drive every day, and I've owned fast cars and slow cars, but of course this is my first car. Driving a Model A is practical to a point. They'll do about 55 miles an hour, so you can drive them every day. Some people take them on long road trips up to 1,000 miles. It always draws a crowd. Old people come up and they give you a smile, and you know they're about to tell you their life story about how they had a Model A for their first car, or they came out here from Oklahoma in a Model A, or their dad had a Model A. One old gal came up and told me she lost her virginity in the back of a Model A. That was a little more than I wanted to know. People, young kids, wave, smile. They want you to honk the ooga horn. So it draws a crowd. People just enjoy seeing it. It's a lot of fun driving it. You have to be aware of everyone else on the road, because these cars don't steer, stop, or handle the way modern cars do. If somebody pulls in front of you, you're going to be in big trouble. So when you're driving it, you have to consciously go back to a different time and a different era. You have to drive the car the way it was designed, not the way your everyday car drives today. You have to think in different terms, drive a little more slowly, anticipate your stops, watch out for big ruts in the road, but it's just absolutely a ball. Yeah, I think I'm probably as car obsessed as anybody. Of course, there's people that like hot rods and people that like sports cars and people that like antique cars, but I think it's a combination of the beauty of the automobile, the fun of driving it, of course, showing it, restoring it, working on it. Especially with an older car, they're simple enough that you can do all the work yourself. Of course, I do my own maintenance, but if the car breaks down on the road, you carry a toolkit, you've got a few spare parts, you can pop the hood or climb underneath and fix or repair. One old guy told me there's nothing on a Model A Ford that can't be fixed without pliers and baling wire, except for steam or air. And that's just about right. Over the years, doing backfires when I was a kid, I ripped open the muffler with a backfire and set the floorboards on fire. I've had a couple of engine fires. There's a fuse on the car now because I've fried the wiring twice. It's always a little scary when your wiring starts to smoke, since the gas tank is up in the front and that's where the wiring runs. All in all, you know, it gives you an opportunity to get in touch with another time and to just have a lot of fun. And it's the kind of a thing that anybody can do at any level. These cars look great, but they're not expensive. They're dirt cheap to maintain, and they're very reliable with very little maintenance to boot. Ford's first mass production car was the Model T. That's the one that's famous for coming in any color as long as it was black. And he made them from 1909 to 1927. They made about 14 million of them. It was the car that put America on wheels. But by 27, there were so many different car makers and so much competition that a new Ford was required. So they shut down Model T production and created an all-new automobile. New engineering, new styling, new color schemes, upholstery, and the entire country anticipated the new Ford. and it was the first model of the new Ford, so they called it the Model A. The T in Model T stands for touring. The Model A was built from 1928 until 1931, and it was replaced by two cars, the Model B and the famous V8 Ford. Most people are aware of the 32 V8, but there was also a four-cylinder called a Model B. And it was a very successful automobile. The Model A sold 5 million cars between 1928 and 1931 in a huge variety of colors, body styles, and commercial vehicles called double A's, which were a little bit wider, a little bit beefier, and were the workhorse of America, although if you looked at one today, you'd wonder how anybody could get anything built hauling it in a double A pickup truck, but for the time, they were the workhorse of the country. Now the Model A, because it was newer, more reliable, more comfortable, faster, has hung around. They estimate there's 500,000 of them left today. Although a large number have been hot-rodded, most of the cars that are here today are original, restored, and correct for when they were first rolling off the assembly line in 28, 29, 30, or 31. So that's kind of the story.